Okay, scholars, here's the deal. We're going to do a standardized sodium hydroxide solution and then do an acid-base titration from that. So each lab station should have a burette and an Erlenmeyer flask and a volumetric flask, that's this one, and a beaker and some sodium hydroxide in a container. So I'm going to make sure you have a scale, a digital balance, so you can figure that out too. But you're going to take a little amount of sodium hydroxide and you're going to know how much that is based on finding the molarity, based on the size of the volumetric flask that you're going to use. So you'll know the mass of this to put in here. And then you're going to fill it up with distilled water. So we've got several gallons of distilled water around. That's the water we're going to use from now on. So speaking of which, make sure that when you leave, you fill your burette to the top with water and then put a piece of blue tape around the top that says, "This is water." So when you walk in, the lab should have burettes with blue tape on top saying, "This is water." See the blue tape right up there? Yeah. It'll say this is water, and then you come up to these burettes that don't have anything on top, and then you don't know anything about that. So all you know there is that there's something in there or not, and you can't trust it, so you dump it out and you throw it. So we just open these up and let everything out, and I'm about to dump those down the drain because there was no blue tape on top that says it was water. You're going to make sure you put blue tape on top of yours when you leave so that they look like these. See the tape? Lovely blue tape says there's water in there. Now remember, each lab station has the same set of equipment, so you can do the experiment, and then when you're finished, you're going to fill them with distilled water from over here. There's several gallons on the counter. So we're using distilled water. Now what you're going to do, you're going to make your sodium hydroxide solution in your volumetric flask. So let me go to this station right here. I think I can sit here and do this whole thing. So you're going to take some sodium hydroxide. You're going to find the proper mass of this to put in here. And then when you put it in here, you're going to fill it up with distilled water from over there, the gallons. And you're going to fill it up most of the way, like maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of this bottom. And then you're going to hold this in the middle and swirl like it showed you on the video the other day. So when you swirl and swirl and swirl until all the sodium hydroxide is completely dissolved, and then you're going to fill it to that line. There's only one line on the volumetric flask, and so when you get close, you might want to consider using one of these to finish with your distilled water into the volumetric flask. So you got distilled water going in there. And then you won't go past that line. Because if you go past that line when you've got a solution in here, you have to start over. And that's not good. So you've got a small amount of sodium hydroxide. You're going to put it in here using a funnel. Then you're going to rinse it all down with the distilled water from across the room. And then you're going to create the solution. And you're going to swirl, swirl, swirl. Then you're going to do that. Now, once you get that done, you're going to transfer that into a beaker. And then you're going to take that beaker and empty this water out. Empty the water out and toss it. Throw it away in the sink. And then you're going to take your base solution that you just made and put it in the beaker. And not all of it, just some of it. Some of it from here into here, because then you're going to transfer that into the burette. So the burette will be full of sodium hydroxide base. Then you're going to take 15 milliliters of acid, hydrochloric acid, that I give you from over here. Now let me move over to this side. You're going to have something like this. It's going to be hydrochloric acid, 0.3 molar hydrochloric, and then you're going to take a small sample of that. You're only going to need 15 milliliters, so you're going to need a small graduated cylinder, 25 milliliters or less, and you're going to get 15 milliliters of this, and you're going to put it in the Erlenmeyer flask. And in your Erlenmeyer flask is going to be 15 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. Then you're going to put 2 drops of phenolphthalein indicator. So 2 drops of this in with the hydrochloric acid at the bottom of the Erlenmeyer flask. So then you're going to titrate your base, boom, 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 into the hydrochloric acid with the phenolphthalein inside. And then when it reaches that very slightly pink color, then you know you've reached equilibrium. From there, you should be able to do a calculation to determine what is the molarity of the base that just went into the known molarity of the acid, the known molarity and the known volume. Molarity times volume, and we'll look up here, molarity times volume, molarity times liters equals number of moles. When the number of moles of acid and number of moles of base are equal, then we know we have something special. So that is really the crux of the experiment. You're going to create some sodium hydroxide solution in a volumetric flask. You're going to put that in your burette. So the sodium hydroxide base will be in the burette. You're going to have 15 milliliters of 0.3 molar hydrochloric acid in the Erlenmeyer flask with a few drops of phenolphthalein. You're going to drain your base into that until it barely turns pink, and then you'll know you will have met the requirement of equilibrium. And then that's when you decide that you can calculate the molarity of your base. So have fun and be scholarly chemists today. When you are done, make sure you wash everything out very thoroughly and then refill your burettes with, you got it, distilled water. So when you're done filling with distilled water, then you're going to put the blue tape up on top of the burette up there, and you get the blue tape from right over there where the other stuff was. Yeah. Distilled water, phenolphthalein, blue tape. It's all going to sit there on that table, so don't take it away. All right? All right, that was a 10-minute quick overview, 8 minutes or less, overview of the lab today. Have fun. I'll see you when I get back.